Hello, and welcome to another episode of the We Don't Wanna podcast. This is the show where two certified dipshits make uncertified takes about your favorite shows. We are your hosts. I am Scott, and joining me as always, he spent a nice, cozy night in the crypts with all those dead bodies. It's Zachy boy!
Yeah, man, just snuggling up real nice and close. Keeping warm really was what we were trying to do.
Yeah. They're very fun, surprisingly lively bunch down there, those dead bodies.
Yeah, throwing a real party.
Yes.
If you will.
Yeah, definitely. How are you doing this week, pal?
Scott, I'm doing good, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm doing real good.
You seem good.
My Astros.
Oh, true. Yeah.
7 straight ALCS appearances.
Here it comes.
Here what comes?
Just you gloating and bragging about your Astros.
I mean, I haven't gotten to really talk about baseball too much this year because you're a shitbag and you don't like baseball anymore.
True.
And also, a lot of the Astros season was very, very rocky.
Oh yeah,
all over the place.
It must be very painful for you guys to win your division and make 7 straight ALCS.
Dude, we won our division on the last day of the season.
That's so fucking terrible. I can't even imagine what those kind of struggles are like. How do you persevere, my guy?
Scott, you have to understand that it's different when your team is capable of performing well and then they barely scrape by. I don't want to hear it from you because you know that your team's not capable of performing well, okay?
Yes, that's why I abandoned baseball. They are neither capable nor do they even want to really compete.
Yeah, that's very true. The Rockies
from the owners
is
and management on down. No, what I'm more excited about, what I think is hilarious, and I'm sure Chaz thinks it's super swell as well,
dude,
is the Dodgers getting swept. That's the true story.
Swept by
here.
Arizona, man. Of all teams.
Shouts to our boy Davey, who is a D-Bags fan. That's so funny. Like,
yeah. Very, very good.
I fucking hate the Dodgers so much. Like, despite the fact that I have fully sworn off baseball, I will always find it in my heart to hate the Dodgers. So
yeah,
that's exciting.
I feel that. But no, I am good. I've had a good week. Obviously, baseball's been very fun to watch this week. But aside from that, things have just been chill, man. Just been hanging out. Been doing lots of nerdy shit lately. Been writing a little D&D thingy for you and I to do. We're gonna touch some tips. Might do a little docking at some point.
Don't ever ask to dock with me again. Just stop.
I was waiting for it. But yeah, man. Overall, really good. How are you doing?
I'm good. It was the one sport I do still fully care about started again last night. The Avs had their first game. Hockey season has begun. They won. It was exciting. Aside from that, yeah, just kind of chilling. I am getting over a cold. I might still sound a bit nasally. I'm not sure, but
a little bit wonky.
Bit wibbly wonky, but we'll get through this.
Yeah.
And just kind of chilling, enjoying the cooler weather.
Oh, dude!
I don't know if it had cooled off last time we talked, but it has finally here in Texas started to. And by cooler weather, I mean it's like mid 70s or low 80s, like during the day, as opposed to like high 90s, hundreds. So it makes a substantial difference.
The morning, when we woke up, I think it was like high 50s here. It was gorgeous.
Like a week and a half ago, it got down to, like in the morning, it was like 58 and it felt incredible. But hopefully more days like that are coming.
Apparently Sunday, the low is 54.
Let's go Sunday.
Tuesday next week, low is 49.
Yeah, but you live
2.5 hours from you,
that's
bitch.
That's so far. It's so far away.
Man, is this what the We Don't Want a Podcast has come down
talking
to,
about the weather.
We're just talking about the weather.
Yeah, listen.
Fuck it, man. Fuck it, man.
What can we say? We're very boring people.
Yeah, dude, we don't have a lot going on in our lives, man.
Oh shit,
dude. So listen, I have a little bit of a surprise for us. It's not like a surprise like you couldn't see it coming, but it's just a very pleasant thing. So this week, Scott messaged me, and I might be getting a little ahead of myself.
No, I think this is necessary backstory.
Okay, Scott texted me and said, "I'm about 20 minutes into this episode and writing the recap, and I fucking can't. He's like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. So you need to write the recap, or we need to have AI do the recap again, because that was funny.
It was very funny.
It was very funny.
The one time we did it, we only did it the once. I swear.
Many of you guys reached out about how funny it was. So yeah, I mean, we know like that could totally just be the shtick. But I was like, nah, man, I'm gonna write the recap, because if you recall, the last time I actually did the recap was also fun.
Oh, that was a great one. Yeah,
because you don't get to be surprised by the recap often.
Yes.
So anyway, I write the recap and I have a good time with it, and then I'm like, I am curious though, what can AI whip up for us?
Okay,
let's see what happens here. So I did put in an AI prompt. Write a short, brief, but funny summary of Season 8, Episode 3, The Long Night. So I will have Scott read this short summary, because after I read this thing, I was like, I can't leave this untouched. Like, this has to be a part of our episode.
This has to be put out into the world.
Yes.
That's fair enough. AI is our inevitable future, as we all know. I think I sent you that. I
mean, it's your past, present, and future.
Well, true. Obviously,
you basically
that
are AI.
The story about how George R.R. Martin is suing the makers of ChatGPT because someone used it to finish his novels. That's just like I don't even know where to begin with that, so I have no comment. It's just like sad, funny, terrifying,
also exciting and riveting.
No, I've heard it sucks.
Not the story. I'm just saying AI in general.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like, how do you even begin to feel about any of that? Anyway, so I have not seen this. So you just want me to go ahead and jump in feet first here? Is that what we're doing?
But I am going to. We should do this more often. I'm going to take a quick second to do a couple of very quick, short announcements. First off,
CTA action.
Yeah. First off, last week, Scotty did mention at the end of the episode, I wanted to bring it up here up top for you guys, that we are nearing the end of Game of Thrones, right? There's a few episodes left in this season, and we will likely have maybe a couple episodes after that for some wrap-up stuff and some things that we'd like to talk about. But if you guys are following us and have listened since the Harry Potter days, you know that at the end of a series, we would like to get you guys involved, hear some thoughts, opinions, hot takes, things you'd like to bring to our attention. That was a ton of fun when we did that, when we wrapped up the Harry Potter series, and we want to do it again with you guys. So if you're listening or watching, hit us up in our email, shoot us a DM, post a comment, however you guys want to, communicate with us. Give us some stuff to talk about, and depending on submissions, we might pick our favorites. We might draw out of a hat. I don't know. However we want to do it, we'll talk about them on the show, and have a little bit more fun interaction with you guys. And I think the last thing is, guys, is just, if you're not already following us on the Twitter and Instagram, go do that at We Don't Want a Pod. We would greatly appreciate it. But that's it. I'll stop boring you guys with the lame shit. Scott, tell us what happens.
I shall. Here we go. Episode 3, aka The Long Night. is basically the Battle of Winterfell, but in the dark. Like, seriously. Who forgot to pay the electricity bill for Winterfell? Am I right? It did say, am I right? I added that. I'm sorry. I had to. Disperfection. The Night King and his army of ice zombies are throwing... Okay, sorry. The Night King and his army of ice zombies are throwing the ultimate rave, and everyone's invited. It's so dark that half the characters probably accidentally stabbed their own friends. Arya spends most of the episode playing hide and seek with whites in the library, and Jon Snow rides a dragon, mostly looking confused, as he is known to do. Meanwhile, everyone is busy trying not to die. True. Theon Greyjoy gets a redemption arc that... Wait, what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Theon Greyjoy gets a redemption arc that's shorter than his man bun. He doesn't have a man bun. So I guess true. It is shorter than his non-existent man bun.
Yeah, true.
And Jorah Mormont is the MVP of the friend zone. So true. The Night King is strolling through Winterfell like he's on a leisurely Sunday walk, and just when things seem hopeless, Arya decides she's had enough and ninja assassinates him. True. The Night King turns into a popsicle and shatters, and suddenly winter is over. Forget about the Iron Throne. Arya is the true queen of stealth. Hell yeah. In the end, we're left wondering why everyone spent so much time worrying about the Iron Throne when they could have just thrown a surprise party for the Night King with a giant cake. That would have solved everything.
Yeah.
Winter came, had a brief dance party, and then left, leaving us with more questions than answers. But
True.
Hey, at least Arya got to add Night King Slayer to her LinkedIn profile. Holy shit, that was...
Yeah, man.
Concise,
the things
perfect.
That AI... yeah, it's just so funny and ridiculous and absurd that I had to include it in the episode.
That would have been a shame to let that be lost to time.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to jump into the real recap, Zachy Boy's recap. So now this could be bad, Zach. Now we have to compare the two, like, side by side.
Well,
and
I don't know. I think I got it.
That could be bad for us. All right. I like the confidence. All right. We begin with the sounds of battle preparations. A very scared Sam, a grim Tyrion, and a weirdo Bran. Bars. We pan the ramparts and the ranks of men outside the wall, and finally get our boy Ghost back. What you been up to, little buddy? After the silence and nothingness sits for just long enough to be uncomfortable, we learn that Mel reached a high... I fucking knew you were gonna... Me and you were on the same level here. We learned that Mel reached a high enough level to cast AoE buffs on her allies. We also learned that apparently none of the Dothraki were outfitted with dragon glass, and they were, for some reason, placed in the vanguard. The Dothraki charge into the night, and the night swallows them.
Read it, Scott.
Okay. I'm going to start that sentence over again. The Dothraki charge into the night, and the night swallows them because spitters are quitters. So true. A few Dothraki make it back to the ranks, and of course, plot armor kicks into overdrive as Jorah makes it back. The dead clash with the army, and the battle begins. Dany, Jon, and the dragons enter the fray. The battlefield is whited out by the White Walkers' super cool icy wind stuff. I'm pretty sure that's a Pokemon move. Super cool icy wind stuff. Yes. Ed saves Sam before Ed is killed by a white. Pour one out.
Oh, what the?
For the goat. Yeah, this is where I told Zach I have to stop. Because I just couldn't do it anymore.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. Jon realizes he doesn't even have his driver's permit with this thing and starts flying straight into trees before crashing into Dany. Winterfell's outer defenses retreat behind the castle walls. Mel realizes her power-up she gave the Dothraki didn't do shit, so she needed to do something else that would be useful and lights the trench, and the pyro crew got to have some fun. But Sandor didn't. Sorry, Sandor. Great. How far am I going here? Okay.
You got another page.
Sansa, Tyrion, and Missandei have a heartwarming conversation down in the crypt. Very. Theon and Bran have a rough showing of dialogue, if you can even call it that. Savage.
Yeah, it's bad.
And Bran wargs into some crows just as the Night King commands the dead to lay across the fire to create a path for the others to cross. Jon locks eyes with the Night King, whispers Leroy Jenkins to himself before flying after him. The dead have climbed the walls and all hell breaks loose in the castle grounds. Bodies falling, people dying, Sandor breathing heavy, just when Arya realizes, oh shit, I'm a magical assassin, I should kill something, and then runs into a wall. Sandor is sitting in shock, but kicks into gear when he sees Arya in trouble. Little Lyanna Mormont lives up to her badassery and takes down a giant by stabbing it in the eye before falling to her death. Game of Thrones decides to write a video game horror scene. She throws a book as a distraction, and the dead fall for one of the classic blunders. Is that you pulling out a Princess Bride line, my guy? Let's go. Look at this dude. You've come so far. I'm so proud.
I do come pretty far.
Oh, boy. Spitters or quitters. Sandor and Beric rescue Arya, but not before Beric sacrifices himself. Mel shows up and somehow makes something she said in season 4 relevant.
The dead reach the Godswood just as the Night King and his blue eyes white dragon destroys one of the Winterfell walls. Jon and Dany intercept the Night King and take out the dead dragon. Dany lights up the Night King and she remembers he remembers that he's actually an anime villain, so naturally, he's all good.
True.
Jon chases down the Night King before the Night King gives him the old "come at me, bro," and awakens all the dead on the battlefield. Jon activates his trap card, plot armor, and somehow fends off a horde of whites before Dany and Drogon show up. Drogon gets swarmed by whites, knocking Dany off, causing Drogon to fly away. Jorah uses instant transmission and saves Dany.
You managed to fit in like 47 anime references in that one fucking paragraph.
I mean, what are we doing if we're not making anime references, man? Jon runs through the castle grounds, catching glimpses of small, isolated battles. The dead begin to overrun the Godswood, and Jorah continues fending off a horde of whites. The crypts are overrun with dead, and the soft piano music kicks in to deliver a montage of mayhem, alliteration, while Jon tries to get to the Godswood. Theon is the last Greyjoy standing between the Night King and Bran, just as Bran remembers how to be a human being and gives thanks to Theon for his sacrifice. Theon charges as the Night King, gets absolutely minced, and that's all she wrote for old Theon boy. It's so just underwhelming.
So climactic.
The music builds, the montage continues, and the Night King approaches Bran. The two of them have an intense stare-off. The Night King reaches for his weapon just as Arya drops the old RKO straight out of nowhere.
Hell yeah.
And kills the Night King. As he falls, the rest of the dead fall with him. The living have won, but not without casualty. Jorah lays dying in Dany's arms, and Drogon returns. Mel walks out beyond the castle walls, removes her necklace, and drops dead. And that is the end of the episode.
Yeah, man. Quite an episode. I want to know how you... Well, first of all, do you remember how you felt about this episode on first viewing?
I felt extremely. Okay, this is going to be a weird description, but try and stay. I feel like people who were as invested as we were can probably relate.
Okay.
I felt extremely confused, satisfied, dissatisfied, and like angry all at the same time.
So mixed feelings, some might say.
Yeah. But still, like, I still enjoyed watching the episode. Like,
Yes.
I still had a good time with the episode. And I don't think many did, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people complained. I think, as I recall, I think I was right there with you. Like, a lot of cool stuff, a lot of hype things. Some things that's just like, some things that are like, mixed feelings again. And I feel mostly the same way now, having watched it again now. I would say overall, I'm more positive than negative. Where did you come out?
I agree with that. I actually was going to say that I think I enjoyed it more this time than the first time.
Sure.
I'm sure that there's something about like being able to watch it for what it is rather than watch it and have expectations the way that we did the first time, right? And for what it is, it's fun. It's fine. Like there's some issues in it which we'll discuss for sure.
Yeah.
But like objectively, it's not a bad episode.
No.
And I don't want anybody in our comments talking about, oh, it's a dark episode. It's too dark. I can't see anything. Fix your TV, fix your brightness, turn off your fucking lights, like get in the moment.
Yeah, also that's kind of, especially for the first, like, I don't know if it's like a third or a half before Mel lights up the trench, basically, like it's fucking supposed to be dark. Like they're
fighting literal death and night.
Death and night and darkness. The dude is called the Night King, for fuck's sake. And also like heavy several times throughout this episode, but especially at the beginning, like heavy, like horror vibes, which I was into. Like, just the very quiet opening, like how all through like the first couple scenes, how just like deathly quiet it was. I was super into, because it just really did a good job of building suspense for me. Because it's just like that, you know, that waiting is just like so bad for them, and you can tell it's just like the worst, and the suspense really builds there.
It's good. Like, I mean, I kind of included it in that recap, but like it's silent just long enough for us to be a little uncomfortable.
Right, exactly.
But when you actually think about it, though, it's like we're a viewer who's experiencing, you know, this in a micro like transaction, basically.
Right,
like,
right.
It's just such a small interaction of silence, and it's uncomfortable for us. Like, imagine these people like in this situation, not hearing a marching army, not hearing battle cries, just knowing that they're there, but not knowing when it's gonna hit.
Right.
Like that
would be so terrifying,
dude.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
So yeah, I thought it was a very creatively structured episode.
Yeah.
I think is a good way to talk about it. Because credit where it's due, it was a unique take on a battle experience in Game of Thrones.
It was, and for I mean, pretty much the entire episode is one giant battle, unlike even like Blackwater and Watchers on the Wall, which, you know, has some conversations, some, you know, quieter moments in the build up to the battle itself. Battle of the Bastards as well. No, this one, like the entire thing is a battle. And I did think they did. I think probably on first watching, I was like, what are we doing here? But I think on this watch, I appreciated more the couple things they did to kind of change up the pace a little bit and to keep it like a little bit fresh and different. Because if it was just like straight up standard fighting throughout the entire episode, I feel like that would have got
Oh yeah,
very
dude,
old very
that gets
quickly.
old so fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, like like that's got to be extremely challenging as a writer to know that your task is to build, 68 minutes. Well, I mean, it's an hour and 15 minutes is the whole episode, but the fight starts, several minutes into the episode. But like basically an hour straight fight, like that is daunting. That's a daunting task. And how do we still have movements to this fight where it keeps our audience interested and engaged, and not like, I guess, just like not overwhelmed with everything happening,
sure.
And I feel like it like that from that perspective, it was executed well.
Yes.
I don't love some of the scenes because it's just like not stuff that I was like crazy bought into.
Mm-hmm.
However, looking at it as a big picture, it worked.
Yeah. I agree.
So anyway, let's jump into some of this stuff.
Yeah. There's something about Sansa and Arya standing side by side on top of the wall that I just love. Like,
it works, dude.
Yeah,
it really does.
The whole bullshit last season with those two and their feud was just so stupid, and we hated it, and we went over that enough. But like, just seeing them, the Stark sisters together standing on top of the wall, I was just like, that's just that makes me feel happy. Like, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Big fan of that. I gotta say, I know you already said kind of like the silence, but like I kind of also love that the episode doesn't really start with like a like a specific there's no like dialogue or like there's not like it. The episode is essentially the episode beginning essentially just starts with like you just hear the sounds of battle
preparation. Yeah.
And Sam starts kind of walking through it very scared, and he's kind of like fumbling around, and like it's just a mess around him.
Yep.
Like it really sets the like oh man, like shit is feeling uncomfortable, feeling afraid. They're trying to do what they can, and then you get Tyrion, who is extremely grim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
it's just like, dude, shit's not good right now.
Yeah. Like they are not in a good way. Like I'm sure, that they are pretty much everyone there has to assume they're going to die. Like this is their last night. And it's that feeling is portrayed very well. Like the 100%. Kind of like hopelessness and
100%
suspense. Speaking of hopelessness, it's jumping ahead a little bit, but the Dothraki charge, terrible strategy and planning, I feel like.
Yes.
But
I take issue with this. But
I take issue with it as well. But the one positive thing I will say about it is, as if kind of, I guess, as if this needed to be proven, but like, it does do a good job of showing how fucked they are.
Dude. All right. We need to just like stop talking about something that we feel so similarly about. Because my notes are I hate that. Hold on. I'm sorry. Let me scroll over to it.
Okay. Yeah.
My notes are, I hate this strategy. However, from a writer's perspective, and the feeling it's meant to portray, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Like, that is literally...
Oh, my God. Mine was terrible plan, but very effective at showing how fucked they are.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so this is like in the wrestling world, they call this getting someone over when they, absolutely smoke, another wrestler. That's what happened here. The Dothraki get their big fire buff. It's like a huge, like, triumphant moment, and then they last about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And I will say, just the very long, wide shot of, like, all their swords, like, slowly going out, Also very effective and terrifying.
Oh yeah, dude. So that's like at the top of our episode, that's like what I'm talking about. Like when I say that, like I have issue with several specific things in this episode, but overall, like the execution was good, effective, and I think like what surprised me the most about this episode was it was creative in the way that they went about, like, you know, getting there. I guess.
Agree. I suppose the argument is that the Dothraki are terrible defenders. So where else are you going to use them other than to like charge here? Sure. But I suppose my argument would be, well, like keep them and reserve them or something, because they didn't do anything. Shit, you know.
Well, and so like the part that I take issue with, obviously, is that like they're in the vanguard, dude, and they are not equipped with weapons to be able to fight these things.
Yeah, also that. It's
like
they outfitted curved dragon glass swords on such short notice for my guy.
They outfitted everybody with dragon glass except for the Dothraki. It doesn't make sense. It's just like, here, let me feed your army.
Nah, to me, yeah, true. To me, that reads more as a Dothraki thing, though. Is like they say, you know, fuck you to your dragon glass weapons. We get our sick RX.
Well, they should have shown that then, if that was the intent.
Yeah, listen, not a great plan, but again, very effective. Mel coming in hot, literally. With the sick fire buff. That was cool.
Cool in theory.
So this was like, I did not remember this at all. Like when Mel rides up here, I was like, oh, this is how she comes back into the story. Because I think we talked about this last season when she like leaves, when she has that chat with Varys and leaves. I could not remember like when and where she came back and what purpose she served in the final season. And now here it is. And I was like, oh, right.
Right.
So listen, I think this episode as a whole, with her lighting up the trench and everything else, is like a fine send off and like resolution for her character. Like I don't have any issues with that at all.
It's fine. The only thing I do have a little bit of an issue with, you know what? This might be a conversation for after the series. You know what? I'll save that.
Okay. So that,
because it's as a whole. It's not just here.
Gotcha.
But
so that was Ghost charging with the Dothraki then.
Yep, sure was.
What the fuck? Why? We haven't seen him in so goddamn long, and now here he is taking part in the terrible plan. Are we to assume, and again, this is something else I just don't remember, did he die as well then, or did he have the Jorah plot armor?
I honestly don't remember.
I don't remember either. He looked weird too. He didn't look pure white. He looked like he had some coloring on him, and I was like going through the list in my head. I was like, no, all the rest of the direwolves are dead unless this is what's her name's Arya's direwolf somehow just up from the Riverlands. Yeah, Nymeria.
No. It was Ghost, and I don't know if he lives or dies, honestly. I don't remember.
I swear it looked like he had a brown streak, but maybe that was just because it was too dark. So yeah, then basically, yeah, so then this is kind of when obviously the armies clash, and there's a lot of fighting, just a lot of fighting. I don't have much here up until
the
next thing I have in my notes is when Jon finally like lands, he like lands on one of the walls of Winterfell or whatever, because he's only got his learner's permit on the dragon. What the fuck is he waiting for? Because he chills out on that wall with his dragon for a hot minute. A hot minute. And I'm like, my dude, you have the most powerful weapon on your side
got a nuke,
here,
bro.
You need to help, my guy. That was the next thing I took note of. Did you have anything about like just the fighting?
No, I mean, other than it's a mess. Like it's No, the actual fighting itself in this episode is just kind of whatever to me. It's just
it's very frantic, hopeless. Those emotions are portrayed well, but it's like it's not why I'm here. It's not what I care about. And we talked about this a lot during, Watches in the Wall. It's like, yeah, the fighting's cool and it's a spectacle and it's, good to see once a season or once every couple seasons, but it's not why we're here. We're here for, the characters, the emotional beats, the conversations. So yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Sandor's not having a good time, and then we get our scene in the crypts with Sansa, Tyrion, and Missandei.
Sure.
Where essentially
Missandei's just pissed.
But the thing I really want to talk about is this weird Tyrion Sansa dynamic.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about it.
I did take note of this as well. This was what this weirdly reminded me of was because doesn't Sansa say like it wouldn't have worked out? It wouldn't work out between us. Very like the end of Pirates of the Caribbean where Johnny Depp out of nowhere is just like, Elizabeth, it would have never worked out with us, love. And it was just like, a gag, like a joke. And I was like, is she just doing that here? Or like, what are we doing?
I think it's like, so she kind of pays him a compliment. Like, she's like,
you were the good one.
You were the best of them.
Right.
Or something like that.
Of her husbands, I suppose.
Right. He kind of looks at her like I think he does care for her, and I don't know that he cares for her like in any romantic capacity, but he 100% cares for her.
100%.
And she takes his look, whatever look he's giving her, she takes his look to mean that she needs to respond with, it would never work out.
I guess, yeah.
It's just like kind of an odd interaction.
It was a strange interaction.
Yeah. And I was a little thrown off by that. I don't think I liked it very much. Just like what I liked about it is that they're having a human conversation. Right? Like it's after this season, it's nice to see, after this season and last season, it's nice to see Sansa with her guard down a little bit and like just kind of interact with somebody.
Yes.
So that's fine, but the actual context of what's going on, I was a little confused and thrown.
I agree.
And he almost persists in some way that makes her have to repeat it. It wouldn't work out between us. And he says, why not? And she's like, well, our alliances, it would be a wedge between us, basically. So she's like still
because of the Dragon Queen thing. Yeah.
Right. Because of the Dragon Queen. And then Missandei pipes up and she's like, because of the Dragon Queen, like you're all still alive, basically. Or we'd all be dead if it wasn't for her or something like that. Which, fair.
Yeah.
Also,
totally
Missandei
fair.
Looking good, always.
Gotta throw that in there.
Gotta say it, always. I don't know. Just kind of a strange.
It's kind of a strange interaction.
Yeah.
What I realized that we did kind of skip ahead and we should talk about, and I probably skipped it because I'm mentally repressing it right now.
Oh.
Is my fucking guy, my goat, Ed.
Yeah.
So after last episode that we recorded, when you did not allow me putting Ed on the list despite my protests, you absolute fucker, I literally texted you. I just had this weird premonition and I texted you and I said I was pissed at you more about that now because I had somewhere in my repressed memories, I was like, he might die. He might be one of the ones that dies next episode. And then, here it happens. Like, as soon as he saved Sam, I was like, oh, this is bad. This is so bad. And my guy gets it.
I gotta be honest, dude. I forgot he died. Like, I was I was in the middle of typing out a note, like something like goat ass Ed saves Sam, and then he like gets stabbed.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I had to pause it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
No, I
shit.
knew in that moment, like there was too much build up from him saving Sam. I was like, I've seen this game before. He's gonna save Sam, but then get killed in the process. And man, I'm so sad. Anyone that's listened to this podcast for any amount of time knows I fucking love Ed. Like you love Ed too, but not in the way that I love Ed.
Sure.
That's my fucking dude. He's every time he's on screen, he's just like such a fun presence. Like
I agree.
Not in the like traditional way because he's so negative and such a pessimist, but just like such a
if he's on screen, he's acknowledged.
Right. Such a fun to watch character, and I am so sad that he did not make it through. But way to go out with true GOAT status, saving my other boy Sam. That's legendary.
And also Ed lasted a long time in this show for
did.
a not main character.
For sure. No, for sure.
Yeah.
Shouts to my boy Ed for always and forever.
R.I.P. Pour one out for the boy.
Yes, truly. Is this where the kind of the dragon fight is, or is that later?
Yeah, so no, I think it's a little later.
Is this basically then the interior, the Arya stuff?
No, so you see the Night King on his dragon, and Jon pursues.
Okay, gotcha.
They don't actually have their fight yet.
Well, what do you want to talk about then?
This is where the dead had finally like climbed over the wall.
Right. Okay.
And it's just kind of more fighting. Again, not a whole lot to address with the fighting. The one call out I do want to make here is I am just a sucker. Like, you can write this in every episode and it's going to get me. But Sandor just like being kicked into gear by seeing Arya. I just love them so much. I love their relationship.
Truly. Because he has given up, basically.
Oh, dude, he's done.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to him during the Battle of Blackwater, times 10.
Times 10.
Like, he is so done and not okay and just wants out. He's like, somebody call my mommy. Yeah. Like, my stomach hurts. Take me home. I can't stay the night anymore.
Yes.
Dude, he just wants out.
He's out, brother.
And then he sees Arya and he's like, I gotta go.
Yep.
I gotta go. Yeah.
Shouts to Beric for, pointing that out and getting him into gear.
I gotta ask you, are you a Beric fan? Like, do you like Beric?
I don't dislike Beric, but I don't know. I don't have strong feelings one way or the other, I guess.
He's always been so corny to me.
Okay. Yeah, why don't we just talk about this then? His fucking ending was corny as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Also, why does Beric get more of a moment than fucking Ed? I was so upset by that.
Because he has a flaming sword. What I don't get is how... So he's holding himself up in the middle of this hallway, guarding them, like giving them passage.
Yep. And
trying to like keep them... And then somehow he's there.
Yep. Gets stabbed 33 times, like braced in the hallway. That should have been the last we see of him. Full stop. End of story.
Yep.
And then they like get into the room and I'm like, oh, they're going to barricade it now. But no, here stumbles through Beric somehow. Because it's like
right behind them.
Yes.
Like right behind them.
That was so bad. Poorly,
really
poorly
bad.
written, poorly edited, poorly cut. I was just like,
they're gonna barricade
so
the door.
Oh my God. They should have. I mean, he was barricading in that hallway. And then they're just like, no, but he somehow like stumbles through after the dude had been stabbed like 37 times at that point.
Yeah.
How is he then getting ahead of the whites that are stabbing him enough to where he can stumble through the door?
They're swarming him.
I know. Like, it's so
there's
bad.
There's no way. Yeah, it's very bad.
It's very
this
dumb.
Is another one of those like, I don't like that at all.
The the library scene with Arya. How did you feel about that?
So I don't love it for what it is, like as its own scene. It's way too
long.
Honestly, dude, it's just way too video gamey for me is what it is. Like it's like, oh, like hide behind the thing, and like when their vision passes, like cross, like
yeah, she's Metal Gear Solid enough for sure.
She's what?
She's Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. Is this a thing that also happens in Resident Evil?
Not really. Those aren't really stealth games.
No, it's just Metal Gear. Okay.
I mean, any stealth game, not necessarily.
No, Metal Gear's the only stealth game.
Yeah, okay. Solid Snake Arya over here.
Yeah, dude. Anyway, but for it being a thing that makes me pay attention to what's happening to Arya, like worry about what's happening to Arya, and then also slow the pace of the episode down, it was fine.
Break up the
and
fighting.
Creative.
Yes.
So
agree.
for that, kudos. It was interesting to watch because it was just so new and unique to have this type of experience in Game of Thrones. I personally don't feel like it fits Game of Thrones very well, though.
Well, yeah, it brought the strong, like, very horror, like, suspense vibes back from the beginning. Yeah, I feel like I didn't like it on first watch, and I feel like, from what I can recall, a lot of people didn't like this scene. On this watch, I was fine with it. Like I said, I think it broke up the pacing in a good way of, just like a lot of fighting and stabbing and,
It is funny to me that, like, she can navigate this room without drawing their attention, but 2 drops of her blood fall onto the ground from literally like 6 inches off the ground.
Yeah.
And dude, then the fucking white is like,
she must have like the most fucking softest leather shoes, like boots of all time, for her to be completely silent walking around. But then yes, she's got the 2 droplets of blood. I feel like that was like funny. You haven't seen Mission Impossible, so I can't even make a reference to that. Fuck you. Anyway.
Okay. I'm here for that.
Yeah, so the barrack thing we talked about, that was stupid. Now, and then Mel comes in, and like I think you mentioned, the recap makes this season 3 it would have had to have been, I think.
Whenever Gendry gets taken.
Yeah, that would have been season 3.
Okay. Yeah.
And suddenly Arya's concussion is gone, and she's ready to go.
Dude. Healing word, man.
Yeah, truly. No, I think this is cool because it's, Mel and her did need to meet again because Mel had said so long ago they would meet again.
So here's how I feel about this.
Okay, hit me.
And this is a huge if then in season 3, the intention was this would happen. Cool. That's fucking cool.
Okay.
If their idea while writing this season was we need to subvert expectations because everybody thinks Jon is going to be the one to do this.
Oh.
How do we make it fit for Arya? And somebody, like some fucking intern, was like, hey, there was that one line that Mel said. She does say something about blue eyes. Like, if that is how that happened, then I am just not impressed. It's so annoying.
Listen, no. Some of the absolute best writers have to be both good at planning and good at adaptation. So even if this wasn't planned way back then, the fact that they could tie it back and kind of sort of make it make sense, listen, hats off to you.
I don't disagree with what you're saying about like that good writers should be able to adapt.
Yes.
But also good writers lay foundation for their story.
For sure.
And the foundation is that Jon faces off with the Night King.
I don't know. Do you want to talk about that right now, or should we save that for the end?
We can save it. We can save it. It's just it felt semi-relevant because of the whole blue eyes white dragon thing.
I see what you're saying, but let's save that for the end.
Okay.
I guess I'm a filthy casual now because that dragon fight was sick as fuck.
Oh yeah, dude.
That might have been
absolutely, dude.
One of definitely the coolest action scene in the episode. Maybe the coolest part in the episode. I was just like, I guess I'm one of Zach's favorite filthy casuals because this dragon fight fucking rules.
I don't have anything against dragons or dragon fights.
Hate them.
I don't understand the Targaryen obsession, but dragons are cool.
Dragons are cool.
Yeah, dragons are cool.
Yeah, this aerial dog fight is sick as hell.
Above the clouds, too. Like, when it like kind of gets still. And then they dive into the clouds. Yep. So cool.
It was so cool.
So cool.
I loved this whole sequence. The one quibble I have, I was like, isn't Daenerys like fireproof though? So like when he's like Viserion is like breathing hot fire and she's like crouching down and trying to get away, I'm like,
I mean, is she dragon fireproof?
I don't know. Well, see, that's the thing. It's like fire shouldn't be able to kill Drogon. It shouldn't be able to hurt him. And also like
a dragon fire, though.
Well, so that's the other thing. Remember at the end of last season, season 7, when I was super pissed that the Night King walked through dragon fire? Fuck me, I guess, because I did not remember this.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone that remembered this is like, you're such a fucking dipshit, Scott. Dragon fire does not hurt him even a little bit.
Yeah.
That's my bad.
Yeah, I totally forgot that too, man.
Because I was super pissed about that. I was like, dragon fire is like magical fire. It should absolutely hurt
we
him.
are reverting to filthy casuals.
Yes, truly.
It's okay. Fuck it.
I don't know. I just thought that was weird. I was like, Daenerys seems way too scared of. Maybe his is because it's the blue fire. It's the blue fire white dragon. Maybe his.
He got special. That Godzilla flame. Dude.
True. That's atomic breath, my guy.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, hell yeah. Godzilla rules.
Really? You're a Godzilla fan?
I am, yeah. Those are fun movies.
Did you like the new movies?
Listen, they're not good movies, but they're fun. They're fun as spectacles. Like Godzilla fighting Kong and stuff like that. That's fun as shit.
I haven't seen any of them.
Oh, really?
I think I saw the first like Godzilla revamp movie.
Yeah.
Where you see Godzilla for like a total of like 3 minutes on screen.
You see him a lot more in the other ones. I love his design too. The new, like just he's such a chonky
Godzilla
boy.
Yeah, I like that.
Chonky boy Godzilla is real good.
Gotta have some girth on him,
Yeah.
Girth gang
rise up. Yeah, this dragon fight rules, and that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I do like Jon seeing the Night King get roasted and then not be roasted, and being like, well, it's now or never, like, and fucking just running at this dude.
Yeah.
It's a very Jon moment.
Yes.
And it's also like kind of, you know what? So the first time we watched this, I definitely felt like we're still in the middle of this episode. Like, this is terrifying that he's challenging him right now.
Right,
like, is Jon about to die? Basically, is what I was very afraid of. But yeah, then the Night King is like, nah, bro, like you ain't even there, man.
Speaking of Metal Gear Solid, this is another very funny moment because Jon is like almost trying to be sneaky. Like he's like running up behind him, but he's like trying to be sneaky about it because the second the Night King gets like the whee above his head and turns around, like Jon stops. Like Jon stops where he's like, oh shit, he saw me, or oh shit, he heard me. And that was just very funny to me because it's like Jon's ass really thought he could just like sneak up behind him and give him a cheeky stab. That would have been very funny.
I like to sneak up behind you and give you a cheeky stab.
I know all too well.
Man, yeah. So,
But yeah, this is real bad for old Johnny boy.
Night King is like, nah.
Hey, remember this
I have other
trick?
plans.
Remember Hard Home when I showed you this trick?
Yeah, and Jon is like, fuck.
Oh,
I know this trick.
Yeah, I do know this trick. This sucks for me.
I do also super appreciate that he is like, well, I need to sprint at him instead.
He turns on the full sprint meter and it's just like, I love Jon for that so much. Rather than how do I extricate myself from this situation, he's like, no, my option is full assault now. Full send, baby.
Yeah. Very good. So anyway, whites are rising up from the dead, and they basically form a giant circle. Another cinematically looks great. It's cool. It's ominous. It's scary. What's gonna happen to our hero? But like logically, we have seen these fucking things like run rabid, dude. Climbing walls, climbing over people, and then they just lift up and they like turn to Jon and just like
they're the slow. Listen, they just woke up. They're still like
still
their arms are like the
guys.
pins and needles. Like, man, like it's still. You ever
just
woken up
little
in the middle of the night with one of your legs dead asleep and you have to piss real bad? That's what's happening.
You get
to them.
up and fall over.
Yeah, you literally just like limp into the bathroom. I've had that happen.
No, I just pissed the bed. Dude.
Yeah, I just pissed. That's what your adult diapers are for.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, no, that's what's happening. They're just a little sleepy still. Two really terrible back-to-back decisions here I want to call out. First is Gilly sees these fucking things crawling out of the crypts and says nothing. Like, she waits so long, and I'm like, Gilly, yell, scream, sound the alarm, do something, my girl. Come on.
Yeah.
Also, and then why did Daenerys land Drogon? And then why did Drogon just stay on the ground for like an eternity and a half
and not breathe any fire on these fucks?
Or just fly away? Like, he waits till he is fully loaded. Like, he is waiting for all the passengers to board. The captain called end of boarding 20 minutes ago, but his ass is still waiting before he takes off. And I'm just like, dude, fucking fly, Drogon. Oh my God. Those two things pissed me off.
Yeah. Very, very dumb. And Daenerys is now on the floor.
Yeah, not good.
Just chilling. And how? Oh, right. Okay. Jon runs away. I love that he's just like, Bran!
All he needs to say, honestly.
Yeah,
honestly, message received, my dude.
Yeah.
That's so
and she's like, go.
Yeah.
So he goes, and she's like, fuck, I'm all alone, and I'm fucked now. And then Jorah's like,
Captain Friend Zone.
You're not.
What did AI call him? That was so good. The MVP of the Friend Zone. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So good.
Dude. Okay, so I don't like Jorah. Jorah's not a good character in like build in my. I guess his character build is fine, but like he's just not enjoyable to me.
It's
like
not
I just
super
don't.
likable.
I don't
how
like his
creepy
makeup.
He is.
Yeah, it's just uncomfortable, and like he's obsessive.
Yeah.
It's obsessive, creepy, but people just view it as him being kind. But it's like, dude, like he also wants to doinker. Like, it's weird.
Oh, for sure.
So, but despite that, I don't know how the fuck he got there to help, but good job, Jorah.
Good job, Jorah.
You went out. You went out like a champ, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
way to protect your gal there. You finally did the right thing by Daenerys for one of the few times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. You know, listen, I don't I feel like I always thought I liked Jorah, but as we've done this podcast, I realized me and you both kind of came to the realization we really don't love Jorah.
Yeah.
But still sad to see him go out, but he goes out like a baller.
He does.
Speaking of being a baller, it was around this point when Jon is running through the castle, just kind of seeing all the chaos. And there's a specific moment where it focuses on Sam, and he straight up stabs a fucker right in the crotch. Just like full dick stab. I'm just like, oh, that poor White. Also, how he's still alive?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
How are like any of them alive? Listen, I get it. Like, some of these characters have to survive, you know, the plot armor, whatever you want to call it, the writing. It's just like, how he's still alive, though.
Tell me how.
Because Jon sees him doing the old crotch stab and is just like, I don't have time for this. Bran! I've got to go save Bran.
He's just like, Bran!
Yeah, that scared away the whites when he yelled that.
Yeah. My mic is not going to like that.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, so he sees these little kind of isolated battles, and they're fine, they're cool. It's a mess in there. We knew that. But Jon's only motivation, his only goal is gotta get to the Godswood.
Yeah.
Right. And
this is about where it starts.
Where what starts?
One of the top 3 tracks in all of Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
This fucking track is so good.
It is. Yeah, so no, it's actually when hold on.
It's like here.
Is it here?
Yeah. Because then, like, in the middle of the song is when we get the Theon thing.
You're right. It is the crypts start getting overrun.
Yeah.
And then the piano music kicks in.
It's so good. This is one of the ones, this one and Light of the Seven are the 2 main Game of Thrones songs that I will listen to, like, anytime, anywhere. Like, if I'm just, like, doing work, if I need some chill or vibe music or even driving, it's just, like, The Night King, which is the title of this track, and Light of the Seven are the 2, like, go-tos. Like, I think in show, the other one I put up there is, like, we've talked about the North theme as being
I can never
incredible.
remember, like, the actual title of it, but it's like it's commonly known as the Northern theme. Or
in show, that one is incredible. But as far as like just like all around greatness, like I think this and Light of the Seven are like neck and neck for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, this is up there, but I still think Light of the Seven is untouchable. Yeah.
I love this one. It's so good. I mean, I love them both, but anyway.
Yeah, so this montage gets instantly 1,000 times better because of this music.
Oh, 100%.
It's so dramatic, dude. Yeah. Like the battle sounds have been reduced to like.
Yeah, I loved that.
It's just so quiet. Like you can still hear a little bit of it, but it's just almost silent, and you just hear this music and hear shouting, and it is dramatic and cinematic. It's awesome. It's a very, very, very good montage, and this song does carry hard
for sure.
Let's give your favorite character some time here.
I've only got one.
Talk to me about Theon.
I've only got one thing. I've got one note here about Theon here. If only Theon could have gotten the Night King to hit him in the crotch instead. He would have won this fight.
Yeah, dude, like that's all it takes.
If he could have goaded the Night King into like giving him a swift kick to the crotch, he would have instantly won this fight, like fatality style.
Yeah.
Listen, no, I joke. It's a solid moment for Theon. It's a bit corny how he charges. but Theon is also a bit corny in and of himself, so it's fine. Like I don't have enough care of Theon to like love it, but I didn't dislike it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's also how I feel. What I like is how I do like his interaction with Bran quite a bit.
Yes, I would say that's
That's what sells it for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bran just telling him like, "You're a good man, Theon,"
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's because he knows what he's about to do. Like I think we've figured out, or like we've come to the understanding that we don't think that Bran can like necessarily see into the future. But he's still extremely insightful. Like he knows,
sure.
like this is like Theon's about to like
right. I think
try.
that's pretty apparent. For even people who can't see into the future.
Yeah. And I like that. It's, we talked last season about how Bran had just like kind of forgotten how to be a human
Mm-hmm.
and have a human interaction. Like, yes, that's not his priority anymore. Yes, like he has too much stuff happening in his brain for him to be like to function like a normal person, but like it doesn't mean that you are not aware of like, hey, I should probably act a certain way.
Sure.
And yeah, he remembers for all of the 30 seconds to tell him you're a good man, Theon, and just kind of give a little bit more life and pride into Theon's final charge, which I think is a good moment.
Yeah.
So
I got no beef
that's
with
cool.
it.
Cool to see.
So this is where we should talk about it. The Jon or Arya debate, because I feel like this was a debate when this episode aired, and I still feel like you're on the Jon should have done something here side of it.
Okay. I might talk a lot, but also not say anything.
Okay.
And I apologize. And I think it's because I am very conflicted about this.
You just described our podcast, by the way.
Yeah. Look, man, like I don't know how to like gather and articulate. Like, to me, it's always been Jon.
Sure.
The way that the story is written, the way that Jon's story has like unfolded,
sure.
It's always been Jon.
Like, he's had the previous interactions with the Night King. He's the one that's worried about him like constantly throughout last 5 seasons.
Yes. However, it's okay to subvert that expectation.
Yeah.
Like from a storytelling perspective, it is okay as long as what takes place instead makes sense. And I do think that in this case, in the case of this episode, I think it does make sense.
I agree.
I think it's perfectly acceptable. So I'm not in camp like Jon over Arya. I almost just like, I mean, partly was making a joke because everybody was up in arms about it. Yeah, I mean, like, so I was being a little coy, I guess.
Cheeky bastard, like, you.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess the more I'm thinking through it, I kind of also love that, like, we know how committed Jon is to getting there, and he just can't get there. Like, that's also like extremely tough to see.
I think part of that is what makes me like it, because I can very vividly remember watching this part for the first time, and Jon being like, trapped by the fucked up Valyrian in the courtyard, and just I kept thinking, like, how is he gonna like get past this? Like, how is he gonna, because he's got to get in there. Like, obviously he's got to get in there. He's gonna save Bran and fight the Night King. Like, what happens here? Is Drogon gonna come in, and how is he gonna? Oh, I think I remember thinking, like, oh, is this the part where we find out that Jon, because he's Targaryen, is also fireproof? I'm like,
oh, right.
Like, oh, Viserion is going to breathe fire on him and he's going to be fine. And that's going to allow him to like run past and then get in there and fight. And I kept thinking like something like that was going to happen. But then no, he can't get there. He can't do it. But I think, and maybe this is a bad justification, but it's like, the fact that it's Arya and, you know, her doing it as a fucking, you know, ninja assassin style is like just justification for her being
Season
in Bravos
5.
for those, you know, several seasons, all that nonsense. And it's just like, oh, thank God we justified all that time spent there. And maybe that's not a good way to look at it, but
I don't think that that's a bad way to look. Like, I don't think that, like, okay, like, we're giving it the okay for more than just that.
Right, for sure.
Right? Like, it does.
Because it was
make sense.
suspenseful in the moment, too. Because like I said, I kept thinking, like, how's Jon going to do this? Is he going to walk through fire or what have you? And then it's just, like, because at that point, I think what they did do a good job was, like, at that point, watching it for the first time, it was like I had forgotten about Arya and where she was in that conversation she had with Mel, because I was too in the moment of the music, the fucking music, and like, you know, just what was happening. So it made sense, but I also took me by surprise.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you're saying. It was
good, because we never do that.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I don't camp for either one of them like over the other. Yeah. It's just they're both valid. Had it been Jon that would get in there, it would be like, okay, this was to be expected. Now let's make it good, which I think would have been perfectly acceptable and totally fine. And I feel like a lot of people may have felt some satisfaction because they have expected it, and people like to, you know, I guess people like to be able to say like, oh, I knew this, like, or, you know, whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, I totally think it's fine.
Yeah. I think I like it. I think I'm positive on it overall.
Good. I think the way it happened was sick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was cool as shit, dude. Sick.
Like, yeah, like we love Arya. Like getting to see her do cool assassin shit obviously is rad. And I think there would have had to have been so much more plot armor and heavy lifting for Jon to get in there to do it, because you have to then square with like, well, how does he get past like the other 20
the 6
White
of them
Walkers that are standing there? Does the Night King give him an honorable one-on-one duel? That's a bit hard to believe and stupid. Like, you would have had to have really stretched some things to get Jon in there and make it work.
Yeah.
But we all still thought he was going to do it because he's Jon. And I think that's part of the reason why this works for me, is because, I mean, again, we've talked about this several times, but the music does heavy lifting for sure. It makes just
it does.
Everything work better. But no, I think I like it. I think I like where it landed because, again, it justifies Arya's assassin training, and Arya's cool. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say about that.
Yeah, I don't think that's not a bad take at all. Yeah. I think I'm right there with you, man.
And I think the only other thing that happened, we talked about a little bit, was just Mel. Mel dies. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I don't
have much to say there.
No, we kind of said
the end of the series.
We kind of already talked about that. Is just that I think her resolution, as far as the series goes, is totally fine. So
yeah, man.
Any other final thoughts before we jump to the thing?
I think that people generally love to hate things. I think it gives people
for sure,
like a slight edge.
I know almost. I do. Yes.
You know, and we're not saints here, you know, like we really struggled with season 7. Yes, but I feel like appropriately justified the things that we had trouble with.
Yes.
But unless you like super camp for Jon over Arya, I find it hard to think that people watch this with an objective lens and say it's a bad episode.
Yeah, I don't.
Like it's just I can't understand that if that's an honest take.
I also remember people being like upset that the Night King wasn't the final boss. Do you remember this? Like that being a big thing was like that the Night King is defeated halfway through the final season and they still have to go deal with Cersei.
Yeah, that was a big thing. And I will say this. I can understand that argument more than people being like up in arms about just like how this episode played out as a whole.
Sure.
Because the whole White Walker thing was the first thing that we see.
True.
Right? And
Very
it's
true.
always been the background villain, the bigger story, the bigger evil. So you would think that it would be the last thing to face.
Sure.
But if it's the last thing that you're going to face, how is Cersei dealt with prior to dealing with this?
Like
it just wouldn't happen.
And
Cersei would never ride north to help.
If people got to this episode and still felt that way, like they weren't paying attention, because like this has been, it was building up to this first, then that for like a season and a half now.
Right.
Like
I think the only way that gets written in a way that somewhat works is they have a big battle and somehow overpower or stalemate the Night King and the Night King retreats.
Sure.
And then
they
revisit,
get away
or
somehow.
he's on the run, or he's like retreating back to the north, and then later, Jon or whoever, like goes north to like finally end the evil after like whatever. Like that would, in my eyes, that's the only way that we get there.
And I don't know how that would work.
And that's just I think that's too much. That would also diminish how deadly this encounter would have been or is if there was able to be like a stalemate where the Night King was sent like running for some reason.
Sure.
It would just completely diminish how bad this battle was.
Like you said, I can understand people feeling that way, but I don't think that should diminish how you feel about this episode or its quality. And for me personally, like, yes, the White Walker stuff has always been cool and interesting, but it is 100% like the political intrigue and the focus on the people that I am mainly here for watching this show. So for that to be the final thing, like,
agreed 100%.
Yeah, I'm more into that anyway. So I do I like it as much as Blackwater, Watchers in the Wall, Battle of the Bastards? No. Is it a good battle episode? For sure. I think that's where I land on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, let's do that thing. We're already going long. I figured we would. This is a big episode. We're
surprisingly not that long. We're at an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, is that all? It's time for Who Be Thrown In. Look, now Zachy can see. This was the compromise that
We're leaving him in the middle there, right?
Well, I have some thoughts on that. Let me...
he's not making the list,
Let me just go ahead and run down where we left off. Brienne had taken the top spot, getting her knighthood. Jaime was at 2. Sam was at 3. Daenerys was at 4. And Sandor Clegane was at 5. Let me just go ahead and I think I know what to do here. Hold on. Oh, this is going to go very, very well.
Production god right
here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. What is happening? There we go. Yeah. We're just going to go ahead and... Yeah. Oh, fuck me. This is going very well. Yeah. Okay.
You should have just had this joke prepared beforehand,
I
Scott.
probably should have, but when have you ever known me to be prepared about something? Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead.
This is like watching a train wreck. It's just
gonna go
so
ahead
slow,
and do this,
and I just have to sit here and watch.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to keep dealing with this, and then I'm gonna have to. The worst part is that I'm gonna have to fix all of this later. Okay, no, I mean actually, it's fixed and done. All right, wow. Surprising. The audio listeners are so confused right now. I feel bad.
No, I think the audio listeners know exactly what's happening.
All right, that is Who Be Thronin' for this week. At number 1 spot, we have Ed. Number 2, shocking upset, Ed. Number 3, coming from behind at the end there, Ed. Number 4, bless his heart and soul, he saved Sam. It is Ed. At number 5, Ed. It's Ed. Yeah.
And in memoriam
taking Sir Pounce's spot since last week also is Ed. The sepia-toned Ed. Yeah, I'm so sad. I'm gonna miss Ed. I love Ed. All right.
It's only a couple episodes left, but
now
you'll get over
I have
it.
to fucking fix this though, which is
just delete them. Can't you just?
Yeah. Well, obviously. But also, obviously, like legitimately, seriously, I do want him to make the list. So he's staying. Oh wait, this one, yeah, okay. Who do you have in mind, Zachary?
Okay, well, I mean, let's get the obvious out of the way. I think we give Arya a spot.
Yeah, I'd say for sure.
I think we give Jon a spot.
I should pull these down. Okay, can we shake too? I don't think Jaime or Brienne make it. They just fight and don't do much else. These are people that were on last week. Sam, nope. I love you, Sam, but no.
Are we doing animals? Because if so, Drogon probably.
We've never had. Drogon also fucking lets every white jump aboard his ass for 20 minutes, so I'm not about that either.
Okay, that's fair.
I think of these that were on there last week, Sandor is the only one who has a legit shot, honestly.
Yeah, I think Mel is a contender.
Mel is definitely a big contender. I think Jon and Daenerys both are contenders. How do you feel about your guy Jorah?
I thought about Jorah actually. I don't hate it.
Here's another one.
I think Jorah is a contender.
I think we have to consider your guy Theon.
Oh. Yeah, no, we do. You're right.
We will not be considering Beric for somehow magically stumbling through that door after them.
Okay,
there's Jorah. Who else? I think we only talked about this a little bit. Do you want to consider Lyanna?
I think she's in contention at least. Let's keep her on there for a minute.
And then Daenerys, I think, is the only other one. Can you think of anyone else? Everyone else just kind of was there and fought.
Yeah.
Nothing super special. So let's see. How many like main-ish characters did we lose? Jorah, Mel, Theon, Ed, and Lyanna, I suppose. 5 total. Did I miss anybody?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Listen, for all the characters that had some plot armor, we had some losses as well. I think Arya has to go 1. I think there's no dancing around that.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
we just go ahead and throw Arya up at 1 and be done with that. Who else do you feel strongly about?
I feel strong
as I select Ed. I don't know if you noticed that.
I hate you.
because I really only feel super strongly about Ed and maybe Mel.
I think Mel.
Yeah, to a lesser extent, Mel.
Okay. I know Ed is one of your favorite characters, but why do you feel that
He
strongly?
saved Sam's life. And Sam is my other goat.
So this is extremely personal to you then.
I mean, obviously.
It's not objective. I see what you're saying. Okay.
First of all, fuck you. Second of all, why you want to hate on my precious
I don't
precious
hate
boy
on him,
Ed?
but it's the fact that you feel so strongly about Ed means that you're probably going to petition him being at 2 or 3.
No, that's fine. I think probably honestly Mel might go second unless you feel very strongly about someone else. Like, I mean, Jon has a very good episode. He chills out on that wall for a really long time, but honestly, he doesn't do a lot.
He's just the center of a lot of like suspense and cool scenes, but it's not necessarily like him winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mel is a solid pick.
Even though that fire buff did nothing for the Dothraki,
it's still cool.
Lighting the trench was very big though.
Clutch.
Yeah, that was very clutch.
And also her speaking with Arya.
Oh, true.
If that.
Oh, good point.
Like, I take it that made Arya realize she needs to shift her focus.
Yes, I 100% agree. That's a good call. She has to go too because she directly aided Arya in doing her thing. So yeah, good call on that. I could man.
I could see a Theon.
I could see a Theon. I could see a Jorah. There are two other big like sacrifice people. I don't think Lyanna's gonna make it. I'm gonna take her.
I don't think the Hound makes it.
Okay, I like him in this
honest,
episode,
dude,
but
I don't know if it's a this or like an either or thing here, but I think that we didn't give Lyanna enough credit. Like taking down a giant as being a what is she 13-year-old?
Well,
like,
that giant is dumb as hell. It just takes her right up to its fucking.
I mean,
face.
I know, dude, but she still had like the fight and the spirit to like
That's true.
Go for the kill while she was literally dying and being crushed.
You think Lyanna makes it then?
I just think that she's a stronger contender than that. That's why I said I don't think it's like an either or.
Okay.
I think she's
fair.
a stronger contender.
I took Sandor off because I think you're right. I don't think he makes it. I
Okay,
honestly don't
make
know if Jon or Daenerys makes it, and that may sound shocking.
I think if any one of the two make it, it's Jon.
Okay, so we lose Daenerys.
Wait, hold on. I want to try and be a little objective here because I know people get all fucking butt mad about Daenerys.
Oh, they don't get that butt
shenanigans.
mad. Here's the thing. I would like to, especially for this episode, honor some of the sacrifices for these people who have this is their last episode. You know what I'm saying? Like Jon and Daenerys will continue. And honestly, they didn't do that much. Like their dragons did most of the heavy lifting. And I'm not going to go find a picture of fucking Rhaegal right now. So I just don't think either of them did enough for me, and I would really like to shout out the people who gave their lives for the cause. You know what I'm saying?
It's not a bad take. It's a great way to position Ed. So kudos to you.
Well, to be fair, there are 4 people on this list left who gave their lives and only 3 spots left. But also, yeah, no, definitely.
Drop Dany. For sure. And I'm pretty sure Jon's gonna go, but let's start getting some people up here.
Out of the 4 sacrifices, which is for the audio listeners, Jorah, Theon, Lyanna, and Ed, who do you feel most strongly about?
For me, it's either Theon or Jorah.
I think shockingly, my bias aside, I think it might be Theon next.
Yeah, Theon one does kill a ton of whites that are trying to get to Bran.
Yeah, he buys enough time for I mean, the same could be said, like, Jorah straight up saves Daenerys' life, like, for sure.
But you know what it is? I think that it not only is it a good sacrifice, but it's a full circle arc moment. Like,
yes.
his arc is completed.
I agree. I'll shake to that. Do you want to go Theon 3?
I think it makes the most sense. God, I cannot believe I'm saying that.
I also can't.
I don't like Theon, but it makes the most sense.
I can't believe I agree with you then. Okay, so then Ed,
okay, I'll let you have that.
Okay,
That's fine.
Thank you for that. And then Jorah, I think, is where we're landing at 5.
I gotta be honest, dude. I feel weird about Jon not making this list.
I feel a little weird, but
do you think about how many more people would have died if Lyanna didn't take out that fucking giant?
That's true. Like,
I mean, that
we put
like
Jamie
big...
and like Jamie and Podrick and Brienne and the ones who were like inside there. Sam and
was in there.
Gendry might have all died. I don't know. I just wasn't that impressed with it. It's just like
I get it. It wasn't as like riveting a scene.
Yeah.
So I get that. I'm just I want it to be known that, you know, that Lyanna's getting hers. You know,
no,
she's getting some respect.
We have given plenty of props to Lyanna throughout the episodes that she's in. Like, every time she pops up, she's doing something cool and badass. This one didn't stir me the way, like, emotionally, the way her other ones have.
And I guess you're right, man. Jon really doesn't like.
His ass fucking chills on that dragon on the wall for like 40% or more of the episode.
I do like his dragon fight.
His dragon fight's sick as hell. But again, that's kind of the dragons doing all the work there. He did yell Bran really good.
You know what? I'll go. I think Jorah makes sense. That's fine. That's fine.
Again, this will not be Jon's last episode. He'll still have a chance to make future lists. He's already in first anyway. All right. Fucking hell, I have to find these. There they are. Oh, good. They're right together. All right. There it is. That's going to do it then. For this week's Who Be Thrown In. Jorah slides in.
Take Ed off the middle, bitch.
Fuck no. Absolutely not. Never.
Gotta get Sir Pounce back up in there.
Sir Pounce will return when I am over Ed's death. In other words, never.
Okay.
Jorah at 5. Ed, my guy, at 4. Theon, I cannot believe, at 3. Mel at 2. Bigger part in this episode than I think I even realized coming into us talking about this. And then Arya, of course, killing all of the White Walkers and saving everyone's ass and all of the whites, I think, is the easiest, freeziest number 1 we have maybe ever had.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
That is it for this episode. Zachy, what are you going to rate it?
I think I'm going to go a solid 8 on this one.
Really? Okay. That's a little higher than I was thinking. I was thinking a 7.
Okay.
I will say the thing I wanted to say, for as widely panned as season 8 is, and I think most people think of just the end, honestly. So far in my book, these episodes are 3 for 3 good episodes. Like, I have enjoyed and liked all 3 of these episodes so far. So it is already at least 50% good in my book. Now, does it still have the capacity to completely shit the bed? Sure, I suppose it does. But all I'm saying is 3 for 3 so far. I'm going with 7 on this one.
Interesting. I thought maybe you liked this episode more than I did. That's interesting.
I also thought maybe I did, but then you came in hot with the 8. So
yeah, I like 8s, you know?
Okay. Yeah, fair enough, I guess.
Yeah, man, that seals the deal. That's it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Any other final thoughts,
No,
Scotty?
take us the hell out of here. I'm hot.
All right.
I didn't turn
dude.
my AC on.
Everybody, thank you guys for listening and watching. Of course, if you guys are new here, please consider subscribing. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, bell, bullshit thing, all the cool things that you're supposed to do on YouTube. We love you guys so much. Thank you for everything, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.